Sense International India. Working with deaf-blind people.
What we learn, about 95% of that comes from what we see and hear. When both of these avenues are impaired, it's very difficult to learn about many things in life. Deafblindness is a very unique disability which affects our vision and hearing both simultaneously.
So, when a child is born with deaf blindness, he or she will not be able to understand what is going on outside their parameters. So, the mother who is there may have to express or teach every single thing to the child. The child is not even able to understand whether the person who is coming to take care is his or her mother or not.
Kamrup, Assam.
गोविंदा करीब 2.5 साल का था तब उनके फादर और उनके पेरेंट्स ने आइडेंटिफाई किया कि गोविंदा को बहुत हाई फीवर है।
तो गोविंदा जब 2 साल का था तभी उसको जर्मन मिसल्स हुआ था, जिसके कारण उसका दोनों आँख और कान दोनों डैमेज हो गया था।
The parents didn't know how to deal with this kind of situation, and Govinda was completely in isolation. So simple things like when our children require water or milk, when we start preparing milk in the kitchen, there are a lot of noises. There's a lot of visual. In case of Govinda, he's not getting all these environmental clues. He is getting only the milk which comes directly to his mouth. Probably he's not prepared. If you close your eyes and ears and somebody puts something in your mouth, how would you feel? When Sense International India started in 1997, the biggest challenge we had was to decide whether we should start a school for deafblind children, and if a school, where to start.
There were only two schools or two institutions which were providing services to deaf-blind people. One was in Mumbai and the other was in Chennai. We realized that if Sense International India started a center of its own, it would be the third center.
After a lot of thinking and discussions, we realized that deafblindness is not a disability which is concentrated in one state more than other state or one region or one particular age group. It's scattered. And when something is so scattered, it is very difficult to create a central school for that.
So we decided that we would work with smaller organizations, disability organizations, rehabilitation centers, hospitals, and the like across India and build their capacity so that we are able to support more number of deafblind children. We are able to reach the unreached, we are able to reach the rural areas, and we can step up and build a whole ecosystem of deafblind work.
When we started reaching out to NGOs, especially those who are working in sensory impairment arena as well as in intellectual disabilities, they started giving us some references about deafblindness. They were like, those children who could not go to schools because of their sensory impairment or because they could not be admitted into school for visual impairment or hearing impairment. And that's how we started identifying children with deafblindness.
I was born with congenital cataract, but I was able to hear. Later, I got high fever. I was having problem with my vision. At the age of 5 years, I went to school. There, I met Sumana ma'am, my teacher. We went to Delhi for my surgery. After surgery, my vision got better. Then I started learning how to read, write, and paint. During one of the winter vacations, my family took me back home to Rudraprayag. At home, I got brain fever, that is meningitis. Both my hearing and vision started deteriorating, and then I became deafblind.
I requested Bajaj Institute to help Asha in her education. They said, our deaf children can see, so it is easy to teach them Indian Sign Language, and we have no experience in teaching a blind child. Then I said, I will give you 100% support. Please keep her for 15 days. Teachers, they tried to teach her some basic sign language, then numbers, alphabets, colors, names, few things. And then at the end of the 15th day, I went back to Bajaj Institute and asked them, can Asha continue her education? They said, yes.
Inclusion of children with deafblindness in the mainstream education system has also been one of the focus areas for Sense International India. Deafblindness as a unique disability was not recognized by the government of India. It was very difficult for even professionals in the disability field to fathom what deafblindness is. So, first challenge was to sensitize and get on board NGOs that are working on disability issues to accept and convince them that there is this combination and they can be supported. And the second challenge was then with the government.
At that time, there was Mr. Kapil Sibal was the Minister for Education, and the advocates for disabled, we all went to meet him in his office. And when we put up this question, he called his secretary and said, can you read the Right to Education Act provisions? And is it correct what they're saying that there is no disability mentioned? And the secretary said, yes, there is no disability, no education of children with disability mentioned. So the amendment was made and education of children with disability was also guaranteed under Right to Education Act. And we were lucky to get into the training manual of these teachers where we could add a module on deafblindness for these children to go to school and how a teacher can work with the deafblind children in regular schools.
So as we started our services for deafblind children, we also realized that the children who come to the center or the educators who go into their homes providing home-based services, they get a certain hours of services.
We need to understand that we will be a very small ecosystem that time, and families and teachers become our strong tool to advocate for the rights of persons with deafblindness.
Sense International India decided to establish 3 networks for 3 different groups. One is for parents, which is called Prayas. Second, for Udan members. In this network, we have young adults with deafblindness and Abhiprerna network. So in this network, we have all the educators who have been associated from different parts of the country. So all these 3 networks was created by Sense International India so that all these 3 groups could come together and share their knowledge, information, and also do some work in regards to advocacy.
Deafblindness by itself is not a problem. It's the structure that we have around the persons with deafblindness that's what create problems, and that's where the inclusion comes very being useful to us in terms of education, in terms of social life, in terms of economic life. Inclusion in every step of life will make deafblind person become a victorious person as you and I are in this society today.
Shillong, Meghalaya.
डेफ ब्लाइंडनेस विजन एंड हेयरिंग इम्पेयरमेंट का कॉम्बिनेशन है, और अगर आईबॉक के केस में देखा जाए तो आईबॉक को थोड़ा सा दिखाई देता है और थोड़ा सा सुनाई भी दे रहा है। लेकिन आने वाले समय में एक दिन ऐसा भी आ सकता है जहाँ पर आईबॉक को पूरा देखने और सुनने की क्षमता पूरा जा सकता है, तो वो एकदम टोटल डेफ ब्लाइंड हो सकता है।
I was very sad at that time because I feel that my education has become useless because I cannot go anywhere. I have to stay in one place and I have to depend on my parents just for food, and also they will come and give me food, and I feel very frustrated. Then slowly I came to know about Bethany Society, and then I decided to go to that organization. So when I went to that organization, I met Rosa.
He was just kept on doing this to his hair, and he kept on doing that. I still remember. And his mother said, just please do something. I don't know, I'm helpless.
तो उनके टीचर्स और हम लोग बैठ के आईबॉक से बातें किए और उनको थोड़ा सा मोटिवेशन और काउंसलिंग भी किए। तब जाके उन्होंने पूछा कि मैं कर क्या सकता हूँ।
हाँ, I mean his masters in commerce, ऊपर से रिहेबिलिटेशन का वो प्रोसेस हो गया है। He has learned braille, he has learned how to do maths, ये सब कुछ, and he had actually begun to help children in the hostel, the blind children, maths करने में, in their homework and everything. I could see that he had that capability. So फिर मैंने principal, the then principal को बोला कि थोड़ा सा, if you can just come for and then maybe help him so that he can, because he's a 30-year-old man, and by the time if you are 30 you'd want. So she was so kind, Ms. Bertha. She said, why not? She herself is a blind person, so she would understand more. He said, that's a very good idea. So we had involved him in some of the activities in school, and slowly he was totally appointed as a teacher at the elementary level as a math teacher. So this went on, and he even, while doing all that, he even finished his B.Ed in special education, B.Ed in visual impairment for special education.
Draw lines in again. So you take this.
Our society is based on economics, and every family member, their status increases when they start bringing money to the family kitty. So why a deafblind person should be away from that status and glory?
मैं जब छोटी थी तब मैं गोविंदा को देखा, और गोविंदा ने आँखों से देख नहीं सकता है, बोल नहीं सकता है और सुनाई नहीं देता है। पापा भी थोड़ा आगे गोविंदा को सिखाया। क्या सिखाया मुझे तो पहचानता तो नहीं, मैं तब छोटी थी, इसलिए मेरे हाथ में जितनी दिन में गोविंदा आ सकी है, इतनी दिन में मैं उसको सभी काम करने के लिए मैं उसको सभी सिखाया।
अभी जब सेंस इंटरनेशनल इंडिया पिक्चर में आए और हमारे पार्टनर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन पिक्चर में आए, उन्होंने क्या किया कि उन्होंने ट्रेनिंग दिया कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स में, ओरिएंटेशन एंड मोबिलिटी में, ताकि वो एक जगह से दूसरे जगह विद द हेल्प ऑफ केन अच्छे से जाए। अभी जो गोविंदा आप देख सकते हैं जो स्किल्स जो गोविंदा ने सीखा है, वीविंग, रूफ मेकिंग, डोर मेकिंग, रोप जो बनाता है, इतना अच्छा सुंदर रोप बनाता है।
और साथ में साथ वो भैया का हर एक काम में वो साथ देता है। और जैसे जूट का खेती करता है तो वो काटना, उसको पानी से वो निकालना, वो सब। और साथ में साथ उन लोगों का वो राइस का भी खेती होता है बहुत सारा, तो उसमें वो 50% काम भैया के साथ मिलके वो करता है।
कभी कभी बाजार भी गया, कुछ सामान बेचने के लिए, कुछ सामान घर के लेने के लिए कभी कभी जाती है, रोज नहीं जाती है। और रोज जाती है चाय पीने के लिए।
Govinda's story also underscores the importance of community-based livelihood support for deafblind young adults. Since International India is working closely with all our partners to encourage community-based livelihood opportunities for deafblind young adults.
ह्यूमन के बहुत सारे नीड्स है, एक है इमोशनल नीड्स, एक साइकोसोशल नीड्स और एक फिजिकल नीड्स। तो इन सब नीड्स को जब हम फुलफिल करेंगे तब एक हैप्पी ह्यूमन बीइंग बनेगा।
There was this lady who worked in Bethany Society who took care of the smallies, of the small children. Very kind. She was there for a very, very long time. So somehow they connected and they fell in love. He fell in love with her because she was so kind to the children and to him.
So whenever I proposed her, she always rejected, because she told that she came from the rural area, and she is uneducated.
So that went on for a few years, 2 years I think. But he was मतलब adamant कि नहीं, मुझे वही यही चाहिए. Then I think she saw, and then finally they somehow settled.
Yung keng bahaying te ong ni kum tataro pitre bali ayu mo ong yo briushu mo kum kiwe kum no pi I ong te ngapa te da ong ro ngam jur sengap shu re keng ba la itanat te mo ngaro.
Asha, her communication is so sharp that when United Nations World Data Forum, when they announced some competition asking for 1 minute video on why data is important, from all over the world only 3 videos were shortlisted, and it was one of the video was Asha, where she in 1 minute she explained how missing out from census, how deafblind persons are missing out on various opportunities.
Just imagine if we would have started just one school, where would have been? What would Ibok or Govinda or Asha would be doing today? Because the school would have been in Mumbai, Delhi or Ahmedabad. Today, as I sit with you, we are in 25 states, reaching out to almost 160 districts and to about 80,000 deafblind people.
The process is still on. We are yet to identify more people with deafblindness who are still locked inside the room and they are shouting out loud to us just to tell us, please identify us and provide us need-based and right-based education.
I hope in future I can also do something for society, and it will be a source of inspiration and motivation for other deafblind and also for people with disability. Every one of us, we are different and we have some ability, and if we have hope and if we work hard, we can change the world, and we can change the way how the world think about us.
I too exist. We too exist. SENS International India, also known as SENS India, is the only national-level organization supporting needs-based services for children and adults with deaf-blindness and multiple disabilities, enabling them to overcome the challenges in life. There are an estimated 500,000 people with deaf-blindness in India, and Sense India is reaching out to more than 80,000 children and adults with deaf-blindness in the country. We thank all our donors and supporters without whom our work wouldn't have been possible. Director Kanu Bharti. Music Deval Mehta. Cinematography, editing and color grading Aditya Vashisht. Drone camera Chandresh Ranperia. Production assistant Rahul Shrivas. Acknowledgement Iboklang Sohtu, Bethani Society, Meghalaya Iboks Family, Blinda Claim, Bankitlang Kharsohakle Bantroleng Kharsongling. Akhil Paul, Executive Director, Sense India. Asha Patwal, Physiotherapist Student, Uttarakhand. Biju Matthew, Director, Sense India. Ishwar Majumdar, Kamru, Assam. Mehbooba Rahman, Resource Teacher, Assam. Rosa Vahalang, Trained Professional on Deaf Blindness, Meghalaya. Sachin Rijal, Head Capacity Building, Sense India. Sumna Samuel, Freelance Consultant, 6, Uttarakhand. Uttam Kumar, Director, Sense India. Debashini Devi, Trainer, Capacity Building, ISL Expert for Indian Sign Language Interpretation. Special thanks to Sense India's partner organizations: Blind People's Association, Ahmedabad, Gujarat; Bethani Society, Shillong, Meghalaya; Shishu Saroti, Guwahati, Assam; CRC, Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Special thanks to entire team of Sense India, supporters and well-wishers. Produced by Sense International India. Sense International India, copyrighted 2023.